Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar and resident rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Thursday, January 9th, 2025. That is almost 5 years of Torah every single day, learning, finding each other from across the world. What a gift to find you and to be found and to be a community that has come together 1,215 times. Thank you, Penny. It's good to see you. Tracy and Susie, Rosa and Debbie, Kim, Anya, Boker Tov. It's good to see all of you. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. Let's say good morning to each other and get ready for a day that includes a lot of Torah. Catherine and Sharon, Deborah, Boker Tov, Jill and Barry, good to see you. Arlene and Amy, Natalia and Debbie, Blair, Jack. Hope that you and yours are doing well. Anyone who is in LA or has friends in LA, praying for you, holding you in our hearts. There is a lot going on in our world, and we can focus on all of it. We're going to. Jonathan and Linda, it's good to see you. Lydia, Gail, and Arlene. Arlene, thanks for letting us know. Happy birthday, Lydia. Tsiona, your niece and her fiance are safe from the fires. Thank God. Ron and Lisa, Boker Tov. It's good to see you. Linda and Arlene, Rose and Natalie. Good morning. Anya and Deborah. It's good to see you. Let's take a breath and let's make sure that we send our hearts every single direction that we can. I don't have my guitar here. Apologies. So let's take a breath, sing a blessing, learn some Torah. Here we go. Ya lai 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 lai, diddy I lai lai lai, diddy I lai 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 lai, I lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah hafoch ba v'hafoch ba la'asok b'divrei Torah. Diddy I lai 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 lai, diddy I lai lai lai, diddy I lai 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 lai, I lai lai. So good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. It's broadcast 1,215. It is day 461 since October 7th. We are present together as we have been every single day, knowing that the best of us can make better things happen in the world, and we as a community cultivate that. We bring it out of each other. It is a gift. And given everything that's going on in the world, what a necessary gift it is to have each other. So thank you, friends. It's good to see you. I want to dedicate today's Torah learning in two directions. One of them is to the memory of Youssef Ziyadne, who an Israeli Arab Bedouin who was found in Gaza. He was taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th. His body was found, and I don't know that there's confirmation, but there is great worry about his son, who was also taken captive. We bless his memory. The world might not understand when we talk about October 7th that the indiscriminate hatred that Hamas demonstrated, that terrorists demonstrate, doesn't know the difference between someone who is Muslim, someone who is Jewish, Christian, Bedouin, Israeli. All of these identities actually defined who Youssef Ziyadne was. And he was taken because he found home in the Jewish homeland. Full citizen with complicated social situations, just like every nation in the world, including the United States. So for us to understand that he is our brother, that's our obligation. for the world to understand that we feel about him with such depth and reality, well, the world seems not willing necessarily to understand this, to believe it, to see the love that we feel. I taught a group of donors just yesterday at UJA about the history of Theodor Herzl and his descriptions in the 1890s about the what the world's problem was when it came to the Jews. He says we can't assimilate enough. We can't be contributors enough to the arts, culture, education to not be seen primarily by the world as Jew. And I read that and I think to myself, 462 days ago, I don't know that I would have felt his words as much, but I do now. And so what I want to make sure is that in all of our tribal concern, which is well-founded and well-directed, we understand that the tribe that we call family is inclusive. It includes those of us in our community who are born Jewish, have chosen Judaism, or are not Jewish. This is our community. And since the first broadcast, we have had members of our community who identify in countless ways. The Jewish learning is not threatened by that. It's illuminated. It's expanded. To be a community and a family that includes us all is the greatest dream, at least that I dream. And if only we could have brought Youssef Ziyadne back, we would have sang to him. Yes, in Hebrew, we would have prayed for him, and we should still pray for his heart, for his soul, for his family, for our family, just as we pray for all of the hostages. There's no us and them when it comes to the love we feel. So may the memory of Youssef Ziyadne be blessed. May his son somehow be found alive. May the rest of the hostages be brought back home immediately. We've lost others in recent days, relatives of hostages, even relatives of released hostages. Miashem's uncle just died. We have a lot of work to do, friends, to restore the hearts and minds of so many. And we are up to this task. We are. It is an enormous burden on us. So I know that I've spoken at length about this one part of our heart. Let me also make sure, and I'm sure that you're looking with me, paying attention to those, as Rabbi Cantor Risa just pointed out, those who are being seriously affected by the fires in California. So many have lost everything. I am sure that you have someone dear to you who has lost their home. Please God, their lives will be safe. But the loss of everything, I have friends who have lost everything, whose parents have lost everything. And I am grateful that I don't know that feeling, but it is unfathomable to imagine that everything could be lost. And so pray with me for those living in the affected areas in and around Los Angeles. Pray with me for all of the emergency responders, and for those of us who lived in Manhattan when 9/11 happened so long ago. This is bringing back those memories. I know at least one person in my life who lives in LA and is looking at the sky and remembering the sky then. So please, friends, please hold them in your hearts. And as Valerie's sharing, their federation just opened up an account to send financial support. I'm sure that UJA will participate, contributing to all of the relief efforts. There's been at least one synagogue completely lost, and the Torahs were saved, and it's so hard to talk about. So, friends, let's learn a little bit of Torah as we pray in all of these directions. Our hearts are big enough to hold it all. In fact, tradition says, I shared this yesterday, that when the temple was destroyed in Jerusalem, the Holy of Holies was relocated to the human heart, which means right here is the nexus between, well, not between, within us and the divine. So let's make sure that we channel it with all of its infinite potential to be present for those in need. May everyone, everywhere be safe. And I'll connect it to the Torah a little bit. Oh, Ashley, you're sharing that a shul and a church in Altadena are both lost. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so sorry. Blessing their communities and you. There is a part of this parsha that I teach every year, but it takes on a new resonance right now. When Jacob is on his deathbed, he is concerned, according to the rabbis, of course. So I'm sharing both the parshat Vayechi, and also the rabbinic interpretations. Jacob is concerned that after all this, it will end with him. And it's hard not to feel that. There is a tremendous amount of anxiety in any faith community, especially the Jewish community, because of external threats and internal threats and the vagaries of our own history, that it will end with us, that only we will remember, let's talk in drastic terms, the Shoah, because my children are the last generation that will ever hear direct testimony from survivors of the Shoah. Will we remember the miracle of the State of Israel? Because I wasn't yet born when the State of Israel was founded, but it's recent enough memory that I can hold that miracle. But direct testimony is irretrievable, really, even if we can channel it forward, even with the best videos and books. You look at what the Spielberg Shoah Foundation has done, you look at what Yad Vashem has done, similar to different climactic and very destructive or miraculous moments in history. Jacob is concerned that after his life's journey, remember, he is sort of the last patriarch of the book of Genesis. Even if the brothers represent what moves forward, it's Jacob and Rachel and Leah. I'm saying their names in English. Why am I doing that? Yaakov and Rachel and Leah, and before them Yitzchak and Rivka, and before them Avraham and Sarah. And yes, there are people before them, but that's the beginning of this journey we call Judaism. It's the beginning of our family. Yaakov is the last patriarch of the family because Yosef is sort of the proto-national leader. Before we are Am Yisrael, Yosef represents a kind of national identity, even as the family is still, quote, only a family there. 70 of us descend into Egypt, and millions will emerge. But in this moment, Yaakov is on his deathbed, and he knows it somehow. He knows his time is limited. And he says, according to the rabbis, maybe it ends with me. God forbid it ends with me. And the rabbis describe a beautiful moment, as vulnerable and fragile and sad as it is. When Yaakov was afraid, he said to his sons, perhaps you will forget. And his daughter, perhaps you will forget. And his children around him say something. His children say a line that you and I know. They look at their father and they say, Shema Yisrael. You know where this is going, but listen to what it could mean. We say, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And it is powerful and gorgeous and holy. But listen to it on a personal family level. Shema Yisrael. Listen, our Father, whose name is Yisrael. Listen to that. Shema Yisrael. Listen, Abba. Adonai Eloheinu. God, our God. Adonai Echad. Your God, our God. It's the same God. It doesn't end with you, Abba. It doesn't end with you, Ima. Even with loss, we don't end. We continue that work. And beautifully in the Midrash where this exists, it's not in the Torah itself. The story I'm describing is in the rabbinic imagination, but it speaks of the fear, the anxiety, that God forbid the next generation won't remember the values, they won't channel the experiences, they won't feel the urgency. Well, yes, they do. And yes, they will. Part of that is our obligation to transmit effectively and emotionally, to be present in history and to help our children understand their obligations to move our story forward. When Jacob hears this reassurance from his children, he says, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed be God's majesty, Le'olam Va'ed, forever. Now I know the sacred path will continue. And I want to bless us, friends, to know that facing all the things we're facing, we as a community are holding so many different points of tension and pain, and we are facing them with eyes blazing with passion, healing energy. We have been present, we will be present, and we are up to this task. We can mourn. We mourn for our brother Youssef. We grieve with our communities in LA. We ache and march with our sisters and brothers in the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. We fight for the rebuilding in the south and the north of Israel. We cherish our survivors and all who give testimony. We pray and walk alongside and financially support first responders and Jewish community rebuilding. We work arm in arm with sisters and brothers of other faiths to supporting our local community here in New York and around the world. We still, though we don't talk about it as much, are funding the support of Ukrainian refugees in Poland. We are involved in all of this, friends. And so we say to our ancestors, in our own way, through our deeds, Shema, listen. Those sacred values that you worried would be lost with you are not lost. We promise. We promise. I want to say that again, and I want to invite you to say it with me wherever you are. Say to your ancestors, to our ancestors, we're here. We know our assignment. We promise. Shema. We say to our past, and we should project it to the future so that one day our descendants will look back at our commitments in the face of such challenges. They will hear our echo. Shema, as Valerie's saying, Hineni. Rose said it too. We promise. I promise. So this is no easy task we've taken on, friends. But it is worthy. It is noble. It is holy. And all of our ancestors are so proud of us. May our descendants look back with pride too. With me, friends, send your hearts to the east. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvatenu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. Praying for those in LA. See you tomorrow, friends.